Hello class, my name is Tori Davila. Today I will be doing my week 5 video discussion. Today is Thursday, September 19th, and I will be discussing risk management. And basically in risk management, a risk register is a tool used by project management to rate the probability as well as the severity of a consequence of a risk. It's basically it's a way to forecast how much something is going to impact the project before it actually happens, and what's the likelihood of that happening. And there's a way of grading the likelihood and probability of this, and this is placed on this chart. And this is very useful to understand the impacts and the consequences of a risk. If a risk does actually manifest, how severe will this risk be, and how much will it affect our schedule or anything else in the project. As we all know, every risk carries a consequence with it, and when these actually play out, then you actually have to take steps to mitigate it or to minimize as much as you can the impact. You create a risk assessment when typically in my line of business is that when a new process develops or something that deviates from the planned path comes up. A new procedure, anything that's introduced or any type of change, it comes with a consequence, and you want to realize that as big or as small as it is. So you always want to create a risk assessment to see what type of risks are involved with any type of procedure at any point. Any new procedure, established procedures, any type of change, everything is going to come with a risk of something going wrong. And if you don't know what those risks are, then you're basically setting yourself up for failure, because risks are the biggest things. Risks are everything that could go wrong with a project. And as we all know, nothing goes right in real life. In real life, not everything goes wrong either, but a lot of things go wrong. Not everything goes wrong, but a lot of things go wrong. So you need to realize what risks are. You need to be aware that there are going to be certain risks that are realized and unrealized, which those are basically the risks that you don't know about, but you know that something like that could possibly happen, so you need to as well account for that. In a risk matrix, you're basically going to have probability, the probability of the event happening, of this risk developing. You're going to have what's the likelihood, as well as a scaled way to gauge what is the severity of the impact, or what is the severity of the consequence of this risk. So you can see how bad it could get and what are the chances of that happening. There has to be a way to rate it from the least likely to the most likely, and from the smallest of impacts that you can think of to the worst of impact that could probably have on a project. So that has to all be placed and calculated and basically contemplated through the risk register. So that way you have a visual way of seeing where this is at, and basically where this is at in the danger area, as I like to call it, because it's graded from yellow, or basically from green all the way to red. So, or I believe yellow to red. And that's just basically kind of a forecasting tool almost. It's just an aid to help you with these risks. Our team came together to talk about risk by basically communicating and getting different inputs from different processes throughout the project. Everybody has different expertise, so everybody has a different way of identifying something that might go wrong. And that's what you really want in your team. You want everybody to contribute to the risk, because in a team of 40 people with 100 and something activities, you're not going to know what every activity's risks are. So you need people with really good input. You need people with reliable, established experience in that area. So you want to make sure that people know. You want to have the experts, the people that deal with it on a daily basis, identifying the things that can go wrong, because they know better than anybody what could go wrong in a project. They deal with it every day, and I deal with this every day. A lot of people like to underestimate the feedback of the first-hand operator, and to me, that's like one of the most valuable things in my toolbox, is talking to the experienced operators that are on the ground, that have done it for a while, that might not have all the education that my engineers do, but at the same time, they might have even more experience in practical application on these things. Sometimes these operators can run circles around these engineers, because they they've dealt with it for so long. And these people will know the risks better than anybody else, because to succeed in their job, they want to mitigate those risks. They don't want to have to be dealing with stoppages every day. So if you get them engaged, they're very willing and eager to tell you what could go wrong on a project. And the way to reduce subjectivity when you're talking about risks is to bring up the biases in the meetings. Like when you're talking about something, bring up the potential biases. You want to involve different people, external people, to analyze these risks, such as the stakeholders. Maybe they can do a quantitative analysis on all the risks we have, and just basically get their eyes on the consequences and mitigations and the plan. Let them eye over the risk mitigation plan to see if that is something that would be in part with the project in a more objective manner. And you want to do all these things because, in my experience, risks they're every day and they happen quite often. And risks come in all sizes and colors. I'm a federal contractor for defense, so we work on a variety of weapon systems. And every day I've been working here for 2 years, and every day I see new risks pop up that I've never seen before. It's amazing how many things can go wrong and how many ways they could go wrong. So it's important to have a solid risk plan so everybody knows whether you're complying with federal regulations, you're providing visibility on your project, or just simply just taking into account things so you can mitigate them and be ready for them. A risk management plan is one of the most important things in a project. Risks they can't make your project, but risk can definitely break it. And if you don't have a solid risk plan, they will eat your time, budget, and basically your patience up in a heartbeat. So this is my video discussion this week on risk management plan. My name is Tory Davila, and thank you very much, class. Have a good day.